What's the best leadership advice you've ever received? Drop it in the comments.
Welcome to Building Resilience. I'm Jose Pereira, your host. This is the place where true leaders are forged, where stories of adversity turn into lessons of strength, and where faith, courage, and resilience come alive. Each week we bring you voices that inspire, challenge, and equip you to lead with an unbreakable spirit. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement, and it begins right now.
Thank you, everybody, here to my Building Resilient podcast. This is the podcast where we showcase stories, incredible stories that people have gone through things in life, but they have overcome and they rise. So I have here a wonderful guest, Toni Kaufman. We were talking before the recording, and she has incredible stories. That I don't know how 20 minutes is going to be. We need to expand this, So with no more further ado, Toni, the mics are yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Jose. It's my pleasure. I hear that. See, I just moved down to Padre Island, to South Padre. So I know you're still in Houston, which was my stomping ground since 1987.
Yes.
So I just moved in December. So yeah, I've decided that I hit 70. So I told my kids I was middle-aged and I'm going down to retire at the island.
And Padre Island is beautiful. I love it.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's been my happy place since I was a kid. I was born and raised in Mission, Texas, so that was a little town back down next to
Yeah. I always remember Mission because it's very near to Corpus Christi. So every time you were going
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Texas 3 hours is nothing. You talk here 3 hours. Oh, okay, it's nearby. When you talk here 30 minutes, oh, it's around the corner.
That's true. No, I was telling someone that I used to work for a mall management company, and I was the marketing director at the Sunrise Mall in Brownsville.
Okay.
And they called me one time and they said, "Could you please go handle this this promotion at our mall in El Paso?" And I was in Houston at the time that I got this call, doing I used to do the Mickey Mouse show, so I was doing the Mickey Mouse show there at one of the malls. And they said, I said, "Do you want me to drive to El Paso?" They went, "Oh yeah, if you could handle the show there, blah blah blah." And I said, "Could I go to the mall in Chicago instead?" And they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because it's closer." And they went, "What?" I said, "From Houston to Chicago is closer than Houston to El Paso."
Yeah. So true. If you're driving, it will forever. I remember one time, the first time I went to Padre Island, I went driving, and the person that recommended me said, "No, it's a couple of hours." Well, it's like 6 hours driving,
A couple of hours. Yes, 5.5. You're right.
So you have several stories to tell. One that caught my attention is that you were in the transition team of Bush.
I was his personal computer trainer, and I was also we were tasked with, of course, getting him into his office at 10,000 Memorial. And so he had the 8th floor and the Secret Service had the 9th floor. So we had to make sure everything was working, all the cybersecurity was done, and I was his personal computer trainer. I had an office there next to him, and he had just gotten a brand new laptop from Compaq. He used to sit on the board at Compaq. And so I would get like 10, 15 minutes whenever he had time, and he would come to my office and he'd say, "Okay, I've got time." So I'd go back and he'd go, "Okay, what's that button for?"
He's quite a character. Huh?
Oh my God, no, he was lovely, absolutely lovely. And his staff was first class. Yeah.
We have a story with him, not directly with him, but it's connected to him because when I was here in Citgo Petroleum, I was the CEO of Citgo Petroleum. Was a hard time that was having all these issues between Venezuela and the U.S. and like happening today, same thing. And we had the single sign in the Minute Maid.
Right.
And one day the manager of the Minute Maid came to talk with me and said, Mr. Pereira, I'm sorry to say that we're not going to renew the contract. And that sign had, I don't know, like 20 years, 20, 30
Yeah.
years there. And I said, why? What happened? He said, well, with the tensions with Venezuela, and having the single sign there could be a bad reputation. They said, but we don't have nothing to do with what it's doing. Say, don't try to convince me. This is Mr. Bush that made the recommendation. So when he told me that, I said,
Oh boy,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, and now that is the oxy sign is there,
Yeah.
So we lost the sign because of the issue.
Well,
And
this is back when Drayton McLean was there, though, right?
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we were big supporter because Jose Altuve is
Oh my
Venezuelan,
God, yes, I
and
love
he's
him.
a great guy, and we were supporters of the Astros. So for us, and we had the Citgo location there, so we have a lot of things. So it's really
Yeah.
that was like touching, but it was a political decision.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes we have very little to do with it. But no, my time with the president was quite wonderful. And I will tell you a story if you'd like a little funny one. So
Yeah, yeah.
whenever you could always tell when the president was at the office because the two very stoic Secret Service people, with their head, they're standing by the door, right? And so it must have been 2.5 months that I had been going in and out, and they never say a word, and they're just always staring and making sure that you're not going to do something stupid. And so one day I left the president's desk and where I was teaching him, and then I came back out, and they were just again standing there. So I got real close to one, and I kind of rubbed his shoulder, and I said, I need to make a phone call. Can I borrow your shoe? And he looked at me. He looks down. He's like 6 foot tall, right? He looks down at me and he goes, my shoe's busy, but you can use my lapel. And we
That's
became
funny.
friends after that. Yeah.
You were doing like these guards, the British guard are always like
Oh yeah, yeah, the
stoic.
Royals.
Oh wow. And you have another story that caught my attention that you work with the Latin Grammys too. So how was
I helped produce the Latin Grammys. So when you have a big event like that, whether it's in Vegas or Houston, in this case we did the one in Houston.
Okay. I attended the one in Vegas.
Okay, okay. I thought you were going to say the one in Houston.
No, in Vegas, in Vegas.
Yeah, so yeah, they've been having it there quite a bit. So Fremantle Media, and in this case, the people who produce the Latin Grammys use me as a producer. And what that means is that you have various jobs, right? You've got stage production, I handled all the logistics. In other words, I made sure that all the stars were coming in on time. We picked them up at the airport. We put them up at hotels.
Wow.
I had the
Big thing.
limos to pick them up, to bring them back to the show. And we just made sure that everything was working perfectly. And so that was the logistics. And so I brought in a team of about 6 people everything from the limo drivers to everything was handled perfectly.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so we were honoring Vicky Carr was the lifetime achievement.
She's from
And
San Antonio, correct?
no, this is in Houston.
Ah,
Does she live in San
no, but
Antonio? I don't know.
no,
I
she's
don't know.
born in San Antonio. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, born, yes. I didn't know. I didn't think she had come in from San
No,
Antonio.
yeah,
But
no. She was born in San Antonio. By the way,
you know,
Vicky Carr was Veronica
Is it Carranza or
Carrasco.
Castro? Yeah,
Yes, yes,
Carrasco,
Veronica
right?
Carrasco. Yes, yes. She changed to Vicky Carr.
That was the way to do it back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like Anthony Quinn. His name was Antonio Reina,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct,
And
correct.
so I just saw that um, his son became quite famous, and I think something just happened. He was in the news a couple of weeks ago. But and his last name is Quinn as well.
Yeah, because
But
back in the days, speaking Spanish was a very bad thing.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, we
remember
went to a
my
Catholic school in Mission, Texas, and if they caught you speaking Spanish, you would either, they draw a circle on the board and you had to put your nose on that circle and just stand there for like an hour.
And for the audience that are hearing this, what Mission or Brownsville are very Hispanic community.
Oh, it's like 90%.
90% Hispanics. So it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I remember meeting people that maybe their name are Juan Fernandez. They don't no clue with the Spanish because they tell me that they're maybe second or third generation. It was a bad thing to
It was a
speak
bad
Spanish.
thing to learn.
So
But see,
they,
my mom was born in Chihuahua, Mexico,
okay.
and she made sure that, you know, that whether or not it was allowed, she wanted to make sure that we spoke good Spanish, or we spoke
that's
Spanish
good
well, like better than I'm speaking my English.
But today is a plus, you know, having the Spanish everywhere, even is a plus. And but you did also American Idol, so wow, that had to be something big for you. No?
Well, I'll tell you what, have you, in Spanish, okay, so Fremantle Media has American Idol, Family Feud, America's Top Model, Cheaters. There was a lot of games that they had, but what people don't know is that the Fremantle Media Latin America has exactly the same things, but in Spanish.
Correct.
So Family Feud was ¿Qué dice la gente?
¿Qué dice la gente?
I was in charge of finding the families from Texas to California. And then we had, so I did ¿Qué dice la gente for a couple, probably 3 years. And then we did Belleza Latina, which was
Belleza Latina, yes,
Belleza Latina we did, and that was gorgeous and beautiful.
A lot of Venezuelans won.
Well, the main person who was one of the coaches of the Miss Universe in Spanish, Miss Universe pageant, was
Omel Sousa.
You got it.
He's a character, you know. You know, I'm Venezuelan. I'm a Venezuelan. Omel Sousa is a guy that the people that cannot know him, he's a character.
Oh my God, yes.
He's a personality.
Oh my, I gotta tell you a story. You ready? So we would narrow it down depending on the city that I was at, right? We knew that we needed like 2 people from this city and maybe 2 or 3 people from this one, depending on the size of the city that was represented, right? So we're in Houston and we've got some finalists going on. So they brings them back, and the first thing they do is they get on the stage, and he says, "Okay, ¿de qué color era el caballo blanco de Napoleón?" You know, in English, it's what color was Napoleon's white horse? And if they didn't get it, then he knew, okay, they're not what we want. Right?
But you know something, Omel Sosa, when he was in the Miss Venezuela, he won like I don't know how much contest, how much Miss Universe.
Oh
but
yeah,
he
holds
had
the record.
Eye.
Oh yeah,
when he saw a lady, not only physically, if she was prepared.
Yes, that's why he would ask those questions.
Yes. So
and
that
I
guy
remember
has
we
an
had
eye for
a
that.
tie in Houston between 2 girls, and one of the and he came up and he says, "Okay, so if I send you to the sun in a spaceship, do you want to get there during the day or during the night?"
Wow.
And just dumb questions like that, but if they couldn't get it, they were out.
Yeah.
They weren't smart enough to understand that. But he would always come up with these questions, and you are right. Now, I do want to brag a little bit, may I?
Yeah, of
My
course.
aunt was Olga Llorens, and she was the first Miss Mexico that was allowed to compete in the Miss Universe pageant.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Well, I have a lot of stories with Miss Venezuela because, by the way, when I was in my hostage situation in Venezuela, one of my big friend that unfortunately is still there. He's a political prisoner. Is Roland Carreño. Roland Carreño was the assistant of Omel Sosa.
Yeah.
So he did his career with Omel Sosa. And we became friends. And by the way, he helped me to begin to write my book. When I was there, I did morning walks with Roland, and you know his story is sad because he was released 1 year ago, and his sister called me that she wanted Roland to be out Venezuela, but he became very involved in the politics, and he was supporting this lady that was running for president, and well, all these issues that happened in Venezuela, and they recaptured him. He's now again in jail. So, and he has more than 5 years. 5
That's
years.
horrible, Jose.
It's horrible. And he's a wonderful person. So, and he was the assistant of Mendoza. You cannot imagine the stories that that guy told me about the behind the scenes of the content. A lot of things, you know. So you have gone through that too.
We have. You know, I tell people you live long enough, you go through a lot of stuff. You know, my daughter says, "Mommy, you drink." I drink wine. She says, "And when you drink, you know a lot of stuff."
And tell me, what moves you today? What is your why today? What are you doing today?
You know, I've been having so much fun. But I'm just gonna get a little serious here. I was raised on 40 acres of DDT, of poison. So I'm the last survivor of my entire family. My mom, my dad, my sister, and my 2 brothers, and my husband, who was city manager of Mission. They're all gone. It's all been cancer. And so, and my big brother just passed in October. And what I've seen is 2 things. Number one, you can either let something that horrible and that horrific scar your soul and be upset, and even more upset that I think they offered us $300 for the life of the family, you know, on the settlement. Well, while some attorneys are driving Lamborghinis, but you can either let something like that really get to you and scar and create the acid that will make more cancer.
Oh yeah.
Or you can just let it go. What my friend says, just let them. Because I don't want to be in their shoes when they have to go to San Jose, right?
Yeah. That always come to them. Always.
Yeah, you have a choice to decide whether you want to be negative or positive. And to tell you the truth, Jose, every single time that I've been faced with something like that, I choose love. And I mean, even what this country's going through right now, you've got a choice. You can be terrible, you can be distraught, you can be torn up, you can be, I don't care who you voted for. Everybody in this country is affected right now by something. And it could be, very easily could be negative. And we have a choice. Do you want to choose love and keep going and keep seeing the sun come up tomorrow? Or are you going to choose to dwell in your own inner darkness and never move again?
Yeah. I always say that you have a choice that is very personal. And the decision is in you. If you want to go in the positive way or you want to go in the negative way.
And we all have the same amount of time, and we all wake up every day and make that choice.
Yeah.
So that's when you ask me, why do I do what I do? I want to see the good in people. I want to help the people that are trying to make, and that's what I love about the authors, speakers, healers, and coaches. So I'm in like 13 books right now, and I've only written one whole one by myself. And my goal is to hit 20 at the end of this year. But story after story, chapter after chapter, it's a little bit of your soul that you could put out. And the one thing that I've noticed about people that are in this industry is that they have a movement. They're not here to, I haven't met anybody that's like, I'm just here for the money.
You know, you said a word that I love it, movement. I truly believe, I was talking with my wife yesterday, because I did a podcast as a guest with a guy from Dublin, Ireland. Okay. And I didn't know this guy. I didn't know even how he connected with me. I believe he sent me a message in Facebook. So when I see the schedule, I realized it was a podcast. And then I told him, how you connected with me? He said, no, because I'm following you. I love what you do. And when we begin to talk, we had a lot of things in common. And I finished that. I told my wife, I don't know, but I'm looking like there is a big movement that is being created in the world. Where
It's a wave.
people, that is a wave. The
Yeah.
people doing stunning things, but you know why? Not only doing for them, are doing to help others.
Yes.
And it's like a ripple effect that is being created because I'm now get connecting with people doing that every day. And one of the reasons I begin to do this podcast was because of that. Because I got connected with a person I interview, and the pattern is always the same.
I
It's
love
like a
it.
movement. So, 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 wow. Thanks
It's
for
so
saying
true.
that.
It's so true because that's what I see when I hear people. There's two things that go to my mind. I either put on the producer hat and see them the way I feel that they need to be seen. So when I produce their podcast or when I produce their videos or when I create their program, I created a program called the Fractional COO.
Oh, wow.
So, because a lot of people in this industry, they don't have 150, $160,000 a year to bring in a COO, but they do have maybe 2,000 a month. I can help them a little bit. And we can set up a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan. I don't want to sell my stuff here, but I do want to tell
No,
you
no,
that
you can do it. No, 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 you
no,
can do
that's
it.
how I figured out how I can help more people. So I only have 5 clients a year and I dedicate as much time as I can and my entire team of VAs. I've got VAs in Morelia and I've got VAs in Pakistan. So we
Oh,
follow
wow.
the sun. We follow the sun in
Okay.
support and service, right? And so what I do is I create it so that my job as a COO is to help that company, whoever it is, get to their first 100,000 as quickly as possible. It's guaranteed in a year, but sometimes we can do it in a lot less time than that. So, and that's the other thing that I wanted to recommend. You guys stop adding more services and more products and stop spinning. Make 100,000 out of one thing first and then add something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Be focused. Try to be
Yeah, be
focused.
focused, right? And so that's basically how I felt that I could start helping more people that have their movements and that they have their stories, and because everybody's got a great
Oh,
story,
yeah, yeah,
but
definitely.
I help them put that together, and I also help them deliver the presentation.
And
And
where can the people find you? How can the
uh,
people find?
Tony at standoutstars.com or ToniKaufman.com. They're going to go get a free gift if they go there. Because I am, and I need to get you on some of these. We work on about 7 cruises a year. So the
Oh,
next one coming up that I'd love to invite everybody to is called the Social Media Mastery Cruise,
oh, wow.
happening in
Maybe I'm
October.
gonna go to that.
Oh my God, you are so perfect. But yeah, but they're all out of Miami. Then we have the podcasters cruise that is actually now called the New Media Cruise,
Oh, wow.
and that's happening the first week of November. So October, November, and then we have the influencers cruise, the next one for Speakers Playhouse, coming up in May. And then I have the marketers cruise that's
So
coming up.
maybe I
Now
had
that's
to do 3 of them.
oh, no, there's so I'm doing 7 between now and the end of the year. So, but yeah, the idea of it's a whole new system of networking because you network for 7 days, have dinner every night with these amazing people. You really get to know people better at a much deeper angle, and you understand their movement because they tell you about it every day. And by the time you leave there, you leave as friends, right?
No, today
Yeah.
today I have met in some events people that we get to be friends, and it's incredible how we see us. They come here to Houston. We have dinner. I attend their
Oh
event.
yeah.
They attend my event. So you become really friends. It's
Yeah, I
incredible.
want to know when these events are. I've got to go. I've got to go
Oh,
support
yeah, yeah,
you.
I'm going to invite
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah, definitive. Well, we're coming to the end. So 1 minute to say something to the audience.
You guys never give up. I'm an old Star Trek geeker. I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek, but my favorite movie is Galaxy Quest. So never give up, never surrender, and choose
See
love.
this, see this. Never,
Oh,
never give up. I had this when I was captured the first year. My wife sent this to me. I have like 7 years. That's never give up. Never give up.
Jose, we've got to talk about your movie.
I wanna do it. Yeah, maybe
Okay,
you're the missing piece because
I've got I've got a standing order for some good stories, so let's do it. Let's
Okay,
play. Okay, you guys heard it first here.
Well, we're coming to the end. That was an incredible connection, Toni. Thank you for being here. And let's connect. Definitive, we have to talk more. Okay?
Absolutely. God bless.
Thank you, everybody that heard this show. That is wonderful. Hit the like button here in YouTube. And okay, for the next show, bye.
During.
I'm recording, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
Right. So I think that the hybrid version will be always perfect.
So you already have done webinars in the past?
We do.
We do. Yeah. That's our
what is the title of the
funnel?
Okay, what type of webinar have you done?
The one that is at the top of the sales funnel, you mean? We have one for CPAs, especially, and we have one for the first two type of clients Regina mentioned.
Okay.
I forgot the titles, so I won't tell you right now, but it's basically about the value of having a mentor on board and the results,
And when you have done it, which frequency you have been doing it?
Those ones we are scheduled to do every week, but what we really want to do is record it also as on demand.
On demand, yeah.
Yes. Because what we found, like Regina and myself, we are very impatient. Some people, they love live webinars. They need to meet and greet and feel that they're part of the group, and that's great too. That has its place. But what we found will work for us, if I want to do something, I want to see this on demand, and I'm going to make decisions now. I won't wait a week because I'll forget. I mean, I'll remember, but maybe I'm not in this capacity of taking action now. So there is a few types of people. So that's why one is scheduled to do it every week, and on top of that,
but you're doing every week live, or you're doing recording?
We will be doing it every week live.
We will be doing, because first we thought twice a week, but this is too much on us, time consuming. What we want to do, that's why we're replacing it with the on demand, so it will be recorded. And they can access this, and that's what it's still not finished. So this is, we're trying to finalize this this weekend.
And we just snagged a new software that we're going to be using for it as well. So
all right, so that kicked it back
into a new software.
What software are you using?
It's called Meetin, MEETN. Meetin. I'm happy to send you a link for it if you'd like. But it's designed for sales conversations as opposed to team meetings. It's designed to help you close in the moment. And it's really, I think it's going to be really powerful.
So if the people want to take that decision, they go directly to take the.
There's actually, you can put your payment link right in it. They can click on the button, go right to the payment page while they're still in the webinar and make their payment.
Oh, wow.
They can go, you can have a form attached. If you need them to fill out a form, you can have that there, and they can go to it still in the webinar and fill out that form. So it's designed to be able to allow you to close in the webinar instead of saying, okay, book an appointment with me. You can still give them that.
Yeah, I think. But Gina, why don't you send Jose your link so he can take a look at that? It's amazing. We both purchased it.
I'll send you that link, Jose.
Okay. No problem.
Right now they have a unique offer going on. It's
well, let's see
purchase.
What they have.
let him take a look at that. First.
Okay. So as a conclusion, so you see the merit that we do this like a webinar as an approach. I'm gonna send you the material that I have in a PDF, so you can take a look.
Okay, that would be
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
so
take
we
a
have
look, and
to,
maybe
we just
you
have to
have
work out
something. If you will see things, that is not rocket science, but what I did is I put my experience.
Yeah.
Because not only my previous experience, my experience that I went through when I was a hostage, because I always talk about that the things we did there. There are things that you can do, you have to do in your business. For example, something that I always talk, that a leader has to be a person that has to be adapted to the situation.
Yeah.
So because we went through that we needed to be adapted all the time to situations.
Right.
And I challenged them, because some of them, even during a leadership position, when something is going wrong, they paralyze.
Right.
The people don't know how to handle things.
Right.
And this is very typical, I'm gonna say it, here in the US. I seen this I because this is also something that had to be with a mindset. I'm gonna say it. I was some time ago in one event, a lady talking about thinking outside the box. This is very typical here in the US. For me, it's funny because I come from a third world country where there's no box. So you have to think and act. So for me, it's very common.
Yeah. I
It's a way of life. So
Yeah.
this is something that for some leaders is difficult to understand, how to think out of the box. And today, those that have that ability to think out of the box and be adapted to the situation guys are gonna survive. Period. Period.
You know what? I love that. I love that metaphor. Exactly. There's no box.
Yeah, I love that.
I remember that the lady that was doing the seminar, I raised my hand and I said, sorry, I'm going to say this. I come from a third world country where there's no box. You have to think and act. And the lady was in shock. She didn't know what to say, because she was selling how to think out of the box. And I said, I don't have no box.
And she was stuck inside of it.
And she was stuck inside of it. How about like you could then and there open a traveling agency? Do you know how to live and act and think out of the box? Move to Venezuela or something. This is your ticket. I have a traveling agency. I have a VIP ticket for you guys.
I can tell you
50% off only today.
in this, and I'm talking Venezuela, but you can be talking Haiti, or you can be talking
all over the world,
or Bangladesh. I have some friends. They are from those countries, with virtual friends, and when they tell me what they suffer, I can understand them, because I come from those countries. So I know that what is that you have a electrical outage, very typical, very common. Here in the US, that is a disaster. I remember that. Do you remember that when there was that hurricane last year, that people stayed? Well, spring was one of the areas very affected.
I had to get a new roof.
Very affected. People stayed maybe 1 week without electricity.
In
those countries, that is so common.
And here
it's part of their life. The people are used to it. So
that's great.
What I'm trying to say, that gives you some kind of advantage, because you can tell things to people with really, really knowledge of it. You have gone through it. You're not reading something. I saw a lot of people saying things that they had never lived.
And one of the things that you should know about us, Jose, is that Asha and I have both run our own businesses beyond what we're doing today. I had a staffing firm for 12 and a half years. I had a bed and breakfast for 5 years. Asha's had numerous companies that she's owned and sold, built and sold, and and run. So we both come with experience.
Well, I always joke about this, because when I was in the oil and gas before my hostage situation happened, I was thinking to get retired, and we put a franchise. My wife had 2 franchises. We closed it last year because we decided to, full cycle, begin our life again. But she was running her own business, and even I was not here, she could build that franchises. And when we were in
Wow.
Venezuela, we had restaurants. So I have been also in the entrepreneur world. I know.
Right.
I know
So you
about
know
that.
it too.
Yeah, I know it too.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Jose, I know that we have to be mindful over your
Yeah.
time and our time as
Mhm.
well.
And
Just the last questions of me. So the webinar, you are doing webinars on a regular basis,
No,
right?
I'm not doing it right now. No, because
Okay.
I have been focusing in I'm doing my podcast, and
Right.
the way I did the podcast was that I wanted to build authority first. So I began to get guests in my show, people that I pinpointed, that I knew them, that were a real expert in their area. And so I wanted to get the authority that, oh, wow, this is a good podcast. So now
Got it.
I'm finishing that cycle, and I'm going to begin to book guests that want to come to the show. So I'm going to be selecting people that can be potential clients too. But I needed to create the momentum. I believe I did it, because my podcast
Absolutely.
today, every week, has like a 2,000-3,000 people that see it,
Right.
and so I can show that
Yeah,
the
no.
podcast has visibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, you've been literally like working on your branding, positioning, and branding authority,
Yes,
branding awareness, so that where you were in a basic preparation, creating momentum. So now you're ready for it to
correct.
take
Yes,
action. Got
yes,
it.
yes.
I think, you know what? We probably met in perfect timing. You know, sometimes it can be the right, but also the perfect timing for this, you know, to happen. Guys, it was such a pleasure, Jose. It was great when Regina mentioned some, you know, something about you, that what she learned. I said, yeah, we definitely have to meet with Jose before even having him on our podcast and talk, because we see definitely so many similarities. So I'm delighted to meet you. I have to run.
I do have
Right
another
now,
appointment as
I
well.
have another one.
yeah, I leave you
Yeah.
to it.
But
Okay, so I'm going to send you the PDF
yeah, send us that, and then we can
Thank you.
figure out the next steps. But I think there's definitely great possibilities here for partnering together.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
And we're looking forward to it, Jose.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you so
Good
All
much.
night.
right, have a great weekend.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Welcome everybody to the Building Resilience Show. This is a show where we showcase persons that had an incredible story, that have gone through things in their life, but they have thrived. So here we have an incredible guest. Her name is Manett Antill. She's a mom, a grandmom. She's originally from Texas. I'm from Texas too, but she lived a long time in Los Angeles, and today she's in New York with her grandsons. So thank you, Manett, for being here. The mics are yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. You have such an incredible story. I'm privileged to be here.
Well, you know, my story, I decided to do this was because exactly I have learned that you go through things in life, but you don't have to get there. You really, if you could survive things in life, you have to share them, because maybe you will be helping others or you will be inspiring others. And this is the reason why I begin to do this podcast. That's why I want to have people. Everybody has a story to tell. So I want to hear your story.
Right. I'll just say real quick, I was doing voice work and teaching some young women who were bemoaning that they hadn't found themselves. And they were in their 20s. And I said to them, I've got some bad news and good news. You consider you're not ever going to find yourself, but the good news is you're never going to find yourself. Yourself is growing, changing organism. It's a journey. That you could never imagine. If you could accomplish all the goals and do the things you wanted on your certain timetable and everything, how boring. There's things out there that you never even imagined that are going to create a life you never imagined. Mm-hmm. That is your path. I will tell you, when I give talks, it's called the voice. The voice you bring to the world you were meant to change. Mm-hmm. The voice that we were born to bring to the world you were meant to change. And we have so many different ways that we can do that. And often it's these things that keep us from what we think we want that actually create the opportunities and our abilities that we never dreamed we could have, right?
Yeah.
I don't have nearly the dramatic and the powerful story that you do, but I moved around a lot as a child. We moved every 3 or 4 years. And so I had to learn to recreate myself. I had to learn to step out of my comfort zone. I had to learn the new lay of the land. I had to be adaptable.
I love that word, adaptable. We're going to talk about that.
Right. And, I was resilient. I was adaptable. I also, though, sometimes you can learn to meet other people's expectations, mm-hmm. which is also something that I had to learn to overcome, to be myself, right? And to have the voice that I have. When I was about 4 years old, my mother said to me, Manett, lower your voice. Little Southern girls weren't supposed to have loud, powerful voices. Should lower your voice. And so I said, is this low enough, Mother? And this is where my voice went. Now you can hear the difference, can you not? This was the voice that I had for many, many years. I debated, I did music, I did theater, I danced, but this was my voice. When I went to law school, this was my voice. I practiced law with this voice. But when I went into work for corporations, I would be in meetings. I'm going to bring my voice back up. I would be in meetings and I would give an idea, and then a man would say almost the very same thing I just said. And I think that's what I just said. And so there was some misogyny, I think, around. But I learned after I went back to theater, after I left the law, that my voice hadn't served me, right? Because I'd kept it down here, and I hadn't learned to make it the full, powerful, resonant voice that it had the capacity to be. Correct. So we often allow life to, in many ways, the way I do with my voice, we allow it to suppress.
To silence your voice.
We allow ourselves to be silenced, to be brought down, to protect ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so we don't want to access this voice. We don't want to access our feelings. And so it's a process that we have to learn to open up. And so what actors know is voice work, acting work is body work, because we have to open this body to the present. We have to open the power of who we are and have the strength to be vulnerable. That we don't any longer have to protect ourselves. We can open and connect and allow ourselves to be connected and feel with others. Because it's only that way that we become powerful, full, and effective communicators. Yeah.
You mentioned several things that are interesting, by the way, that I talk always about that. You talk about the adaptability. You talked about the vulnerability, you talked about the resilience, and you talk about the connection. And all of that are connected. For me, what is your thought about the vulnerability? Because this is something that sometimes people make the mistake that if you are vulnerable, are like you're exposed. What do you think about that?
So I don't know if you know the name Brene Brown.
Oh, I was thinking in her, and she's from here, from Houston. She's from here, from Houston. Yeah, I was thinking with her. Right? Yeah, I love her, by the way.
Right, she gives a whole talk on the power of vulnerability.
I did a talk show talking about her because when I heard her speech and her books, it's so powerful. It's really powerful.
Because when we're not vulnerable, we're protected. And when we're protected, we're shut down. When we're protected, we are keeping ourselves from that connection. We pull in our power, right? It's when we're willing to be vulnerable that we can actually be open and willing to take the steps and the action outside our comfort zone, outside of the place we're protected. We're able to actually reach in and touch others because we're open to that experience.
There's where you get, and there's where the connection comes. You know, I always mention something because I did my career in the corporate world and with several cultures, working with several cultures. And one of the things that really always made connection was being human being. So I tell the people today, if you want to be a good leader, be human. And you know, sometimes people think that if you are like a autocrat leader, that can work. But that the real secret sauce is connecting with the people, being people. What do you think about that?
I will tell you, one of the voice greats that I study, his name is Arthur Lesac. And he talks about yawn versus brawn, the power of breath and yawn and reach. When we reach, right? Then we have the strength. When we're here, and it's even when I tell people, like, if you do like this and you stretch, there's tension here, there's tension here, you know, the strength, the brawn, but when you open and reach, right, you actually have a further reach. You have an opening. There's a strength that comes from the release, right? And it's when we brace that we lose power because it's protective, right?
Wow. How was that combination? Because I'm thinking a lawyer and attorney normally is, you know, factual, you know, and then but there is the artist in yourself. So how you make that combination? How, you know?
Well, I will tell you, I did lose the law leave the law because I felt it limited me. And, you know, one of the things, it's called an adversary system because it's a kind of a constant battle. And there are ways in which different people practice law, but there are ways in which to come to a solution, to come together to deal with a problem can be so much more effective than saying it has to be my way, right? And that was actually more the case when I was practicing law. There are, you know, dispute resolution and things like that try to lead people into these joint journeys to find solutions as opposed to the fighting. But also, particularly if you're a trial lawyer, you have to connect with that jury. You have to be able to tell a story that touches their hearts. You can't just come through this.
There's where the artist comes when you're trying to connect with them.
Right. And in the same way with a negotiation, if you come slamming into people, they're going to resist you. Right.
Yeah.
Unless there's a little bit of this open mutual work and ability to open to someone else's ideas. You come in with your own, but if you can open to someone else's ideas, you can create an opportunity that they may be more open to yours. Right.
There is something that I always ask to the people that I interview is, how is the faith in your world? How has been the faith part of your journey?
I will tell you that even from being a very young child, I've been a seeker in faith.
Okay.
I will share with you that it's not always been an easy journey. I'm someone that asks questions. I'm someone who, I wouldn't say is skeptical, but who wants to understand. And often when we respond to children and teach them about faith in the same way, it's like, this is it. It's got to be like this. And we need to know that each person's journey and path to faith, to deity, to blessing is different. I will tell you, my mother, actually, after my father died at 72, she went back and became a lay chaplain.
Oh, wow.
Whether she was a businesswoman, she became a lay chaplain. And one of the things that she was saying, she said, you know, faith is like there's mountains and there's different paths up the mountain. Mm-hmm. You have to find your own path. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it crosses other paths. Sometimes it diverts as we confront problems that our faith is not answering at the moment. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's just like the same journey of life. Journey of faith is a constant searching for that connection and a deeper level of connection. As we may explore different paths ourselves or through others.
And how has been your journey, your particular journey? How has been your particular journey?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I have been had difficulty with my search because I'm also very pulled to, as you said, social justice and compassion and humanity. And often when I've had to confront in the world the horrors that people have visited on each other.
Oh, yeah.
And continue, you know, I'm Jewish, and you sometimes ask how, right? Can a loving deity, a loving God allow this, right? And so at various times of my life, that's been a real problem. That's been a confrontation that's been difficult for me to answer. And so I, just like any other confrontation that I've had to work through in my life in terms of opening doors to understanding, accepting different paths, acknowledging that I don't have the answer, that I've learned that I may never have the answer.
Oh, yeah. That is a journey.
And that's part of my journey is coping with the questions, coping with the doubts.
Mentioning that you are Jewish, there is a book that for me changed my life. When I was in my captivity, I had the opportunity to read it. It's a guy called Viktor Frankl, Man in the Search of a... Okay, so I don't know if you have read that book, but that book really talked to me because I was in my captivity when I could have the opportunity to read it, and the audience that are hearing this guy wrote that book after he came from the Nazi concentration camp,
from the concentration camp,
and he's the father of the logotherapy, but for him was like that anybody can survive things if you find your purpose. So I'm going to ask you, what is your purpose? What is your why?
My why now,
yeah,
it's changed.
It changed, of course.
Right, is to change. Is, well, one, personally, my why is to continue to grow and to continue to open myself and become more, and to give, to be able to give what I have the power to give, and to keep finding out what that is, and to take different opportunities to offer that in different ways, right? I lost my train of thought there for a minute because I think my purpose is to create and empower others to create the change that they can bring, to do the transformation, to bring the transformation, the messages, the insights that they can bring. And I do that by helping them develop their voice. so that the way I serve my purpose to create change, which I try to do with my own communication, is to enable others to have the full power of not just the sound of their voice, but their connection to their own voice and purpose, which they find through actually opening their body and their whole mind and being, is to create in the world others that can bring the transformation that they are here to bring. And I think that changes for all of us as we move forward. There's a story about a rabbi named Zusia, and he was renowned in his time. He was like one of the most renowned rabbis of all of his age. He was dying, and his disciples were around him, and he was crying. And they said, Rabbi Zusia, why are you crying? You've had this life, this beautiful power. You've accomplished so much. And he said, but was I Zusia?
Wow.
And I think that's a journey that I hope I never cease to have.
Wow. 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 Powerful. Well, we're coming to the end, and where the people can find you?
So my company is Your Voice Connection, because that's what our voices are, that we sing our soul through our voice. Our eyes are the windows of the soul, but we sing our voice. We sing our soul with our voice. It's Your Voice Connection. And it's www.yourvoiceconnection.com. And there I have, there's a PDF that kind of explains, I have Connect is Connect with breath, open your body, nurture new habits, right?
My company is Jose Connect. So I also do the Connect, yes.
And then with that is a little 20-minute video, which just gives you a peek into the physical nature of what I teach, and then opening of the upper body, neck and mouth, neck and head, to have the full powerful breath, so that people can experience a little bit of what it's like to do this work.
Oh, incredible. And coming to the end, in 1 minute, in a nutshell, what you will tell to the audience? What will be your final recommendation to the audience? What you want to say to them?
One, to always take the opportunity to open to experience, open to the other, a willingness to step into someone else's reality, and not to assume yours is the only one. And that we do that through an opening to ourselves, through breath, through body, through presence. Then we can reach out, touch, and both take in and give all we're here to give.
Wow. Well, coming to the end, and the audience that are hearing this, Manett has an incredible journey. She has a powerful way to make your voice to be heard. Sometimes the people, and you mentioned it, that sometimes you lower your voice, and your voice matters, and your story matters. So thank you.
And